This is a certified
Bob Sponge 10
classic.
Yeah. Alright. We're back with another Survivor tier list. It's been a while. So, this time we're doing Survivor All-Stars. And, there's spoilers in the video for this season and, every season before it, probably. So, be warned. But, we got our man Rupert here. And, Rupert in season 7 was pretty freaking epic. And in this season, he's also epic. But is he S tier epic? I mean, this cast is so strong. So strong. I mean, for me, this is definitely a top 5 season. And for some reason, that seems to be a bit of a controversial opinion. But, you know what? When you got a strong cast, you got a strong cast. So, Rupert is going to start us off with the S tier. Now, Colby, if this was season 2, he'd be S tier for me. But this time I thought his go-around was a lot weaker. He pretty much antagonized Sheehan the whole time for no reason. And, I mean, he was running the game, sort of, at one point there. But, just overall gameplay-wise, personality-wise, I thought he was much weaker. And plus, he kept bullying Jerry for pretty much no reason. I mean, in season 2, everybody seemed to hate her, so, I mean, I guess it was deserved. But, I mean, this time it seemed like she really didn't do anything wrong. Even though Jerry was doing a lot of suffering out there, I actually found it incredibly hot. I thought she was hotter this time around. So Jerry is going to go in the A tier for me. I mean, she's not S tier because this cast is just so good. But, I mean, A tier I think is fair. Tina, she was the first one out, so there's really not much to say about her. But, I think obviously she never had a chance, but I don't think she really did anything wrong, per se. So I'll put her in the B tier. Ethan, he was the last of the winners. He made it farther than any other winner did, so, he deserves props for that. But, yeah, I don't know if he deserves A tier, but I think he is definitely, maybe he does, looking at this cast. I'll put him at the top of the B tier for now. But if Tina will ever get out of the way, Tina, get out of the way. All right, there we go. Okay, so we got Rob C, who is just so epic of a gamer, and it's so tragic that he had to play on this season where he had no shot. He was basically a winner. Everybody knows he should have won Survivor Amazon, but he didn't. But he was treated like a winner, and when his tribe went to tribal council, he just had no shot. But, he did not get to show off as many of his gamer qualities, but he is still probably the most epic gamer to have ever played the game. Soon to be 33 seasons later. So, there you go. Jenna, I've never been much a fan of Jenna, but, if her mom didn't die, she'd probably get D tier, but because I feel bad for her, I'll give her C tier. Alright, so we got the other Jenna, and, she surprised me with actually playing a decent game, but at the same time, her personality was pretty grating, I thought. But yeah, does she deserve B tier for playing a good game? I'll say no. Okay, here's what I think Jenna should have done at the Final Four. Okay, if Jenna's at the Final Four and she forces a tie between what is it, Amber and Rupert, and they go to a fire making challenge, then you know Rupert is going to win the fire making challenge, and at that point, Jenna is guaranteed a spot in the final two. Okay, because if Rupert's gone, then Jenna has to win the last challenge, or she's not going, because you know Rob and Amber are taking each other. If Amber's gone, then if Rob wins, he's taking Jenna because he's not going to go up against Rupert and lose. And if Rupert wins, he's taking Jenna because he's loyal to her. So it's just ridiculous. Just a totally fatal blunder, I thought. Okay, so we got the winner here. We got Amber, and obviously, I think that the man at the end of the line there, right here, should have won. But Amber, another strong contender for waifu of the season. I don't know. She didn't play that much of a game, but she won a couple individual immunities, so that's cool. And she seemed to have a really good attitude out there, which was nice. So I'll give her A tier for right now. Xian, she was gonna go in the F tier, but at the final tribal council, she said she basically called everybody on the jury a hypocrite, and I was like, yes, she spoke absolute truth in that moment. And then she goes and votes for Amber. Why did she vote for Amber over Rob? That doesn't make any sense. If she's voting for who she really thought played the best game, how do you possibly come up with in your mind that Amber played a better game than Rob? I don't get it, but I wasn't there, so I'll give her D tier. Whatever. Rich, dude, I love Rich. Rich is S tier. The fact that he has not been brought back yet is absolutely criminal. Actually, I could say that about, I'll go ahead and say who it is absolutely criminal that they have not brought back from this cast. Okay, Rich, Rob C, who have they not brought back? Kathy, Big Tom, and Kathy and Rich and Rob. I'd love to see them play again, and the fact that they haven't is just totally ridiculous. But Rich is just, he was just laying out and doing nothing. He's like, here I am. Everybody knows I'm the king of Survivor. So I think that was just awesome. And I think his personality is really great, and he is very good. He is a well-deserving father of Survivor. He's not the king of Survivor, but he is the father of Survivor, and he holds that well. On this channel we tend to have certain classes of people that we tend to prioritize, and even then, Rich makes it up to S tier, so that should say something. All right, so we got Kathy. And Kathy, I think, is a very underrated player on this season, because on her tribe, I think she ran that tribe the majority of the time. At first it was like Lex and Colby, and then it was like, then Kathy was like, all right, we should get Colby out. So Lex was like, oh, okay. So they did. And then from that point until the merge, Kathy ran the show on that side. And Kathy, I think, is a very underrated player overall, and I think that for the most of the time she had a very good attitude. And then, when she got betrayed by Rob, she was pretty butthurt. But then at the end, at the final tribal council, she redeems herself and she says, Rob, I know that you've done all this, but, and I loved you like a son, but you know what? I'm still going to vote for you because you played such a good game. And she did, and then Rob apologized, and then they made up. And that's a process that a certain someone can take a lesson from. But Kathy is A tier. Now, Big Tom, I've thought about this for a long time, and I thought, is Big Tom, Big Tom, he was very butthurt at the finale, and does he deserve to be in a high tier? Because for the first, there's a cat outside. For the first 99% of the season, Big Tom was an obvious S tier. But then at the finale, he, just pretty much pooped on Rob and Amber both, but mostly Rob. And I think it's mostly Big Tom's fault because I don't know how in the world, with him seeing everything that was going on, how in the world did he think that he was closer to Rob than Amber was? How did he possibly think Rob would pick him over Amber? That I will never understand. But, when Rob answered his final tribal council question, Rob basically called him a liar on national television in front of the entire country. And, at the reunion show, Rupert confirmed that Big Tom was, in fact, not a liar. So, I can understand Big Tom for being upset with Rob for falsely accusing him of being a liar. And being from the country, I know that that's a big deal to Big Tom. So I'm going to put Big Tom back in the S tier because I think it's very understandable his frustrations there. And obviously his personality is just as good as it was in Africa for the rest of the time. So, dude. Sue, she was a complainer the whole time. And, even with her ripping into Kelly for no reason in season 1, then she, claims sexual assault on Rich, which is probably why he hasn't been brought back, by the way, aside from him going to prison. But he's out of prison now. And, she claims sexual assault, and multiple people say that she only said that so that she could sue CBS or somebody and get money, which is exactly what happened. So, there you go. So, we got Lex, who is also going in the F tier, and I think the reason should be obvious. It's been, 17 years, and he still hasn't forgiven Rob, so, I mean, you can look it up if you don't believe me, but I think that's the case, and just a very cringe attitude about the whole thing. Now, we've got Alicia, who was a part of Rob's little faction, and it's sort of like, I would say that Alicia and Jenna are pretty similar in that their personalities are not the greatest. And, I don't really have much else to say about Alicia. She didn't really tilt me too much one way or the other, so I'll just throw her there next to Jenna. Now, come on, the last two, you know exactly where they're going. Rudy, rest in peace, my nigga Rudy. If you fellow gamers out there have a Mountain Dew in your fridge, go crack one open and pour it out for the legend himself, Rudy Bosch. Uh, you know, he he was just a legend. I mean, what can you say? 75 years old, playing Survivor for a second time. Absolute beast mode. And Rob, I mean, this was his season, you know. And people will say, "Oh, Bob Sponge, Rob is a Chad. Is Rob really a Chad?" I mean, yes, he does get he gets the girl, and he gets the $1 million because they have a joint bank account, and they do get 2 cars and nationally televised wedding paid for by CBS. But he stays on the grind. Okay, he earned his way there because of his Sigma male grind set. So really, he is a gamer, and that's just all I have to say about that. I mean, Rob makes the season on a season with, as you can see, 5 S tiers and 4 very strong A tiers that on another season might be S tier. You know, Rob makes the season, and it's no accident that they've brought it back as many times as they have. So, and obviously he ran the game and he deserved to win and all that stuff too. So that's the list, and I'm just gonna look through it, see if there's anything I want to change, and yeah, I think that's about it. So, but I know what y'all really want. You want to know, oh, who's the Survivor waifu of the season? So it really comes down to two. It's the duo from Survivor Australia, and we'll just have to see.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, gamers, this was a very tough decision, and I spent several agonizing hours poring over my notes, rewatching film. But at the end of the day, I've decided that Amber is going to be my Survivor waifu for Survivor All Stars. I think that she has a nice face. She has a very nice body, and I think her personality and her attitude was very strong. I think she was kind of a beacon of light, if you will, in what is otherwise sort of a dark season. Which is why, I mean, not that that's a bad thing, being a dark season, that's kind of why I like it. But at the same time, I think that it's impossible to ignore what Jerry brought to the table, you know. I think that there's just something about Jerry that I cannot forget in my mind. And her constant suffering at the hands of Rupert and the elements just made her an incredibly compelling character. And I think for some reason that how much she suffered was actually incredibly hot. So I'm not going to leave Jerry out of this ranking. We are going to have Survivor waifus 1A and 1B for the first time ever. This is unprecedented, folks. So they're both going to be on this chart, as you can see. And I will have another tier list coming out soon, and we will see who is added to this list. Goodbye.